On the next Wendy Life, Wendy talks to Dr. Evisha Ford, founder and executive director of iCan Dream Center.
It's always been my heart's desire to open a facility to support students with disabilities. Initially, I set my sights on supporting young children with disabilities, and my career path took me to administration for high school students. And so I got to really hear the hearts of parents at that age group, and I understood that there was a vacuum of resources for after-school therapeutic programs for kids with disabilities. And so from the very beginning, we really started programming for students who were 12 and older.
We're going more on location. We're talking to a more diverse group of people, bringing the special needs community right to you. Hi, I'm Wendy, and welcome to the WendyLyfe Show. I'm so excited about today's show because we are actually on location here in Hazel Crest at the iCan Dream Center. And joining us is my friend, Dr. Evisha Ford. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're a little under the weather, but you said you feel better.
Yes, feeling better.
I'm glad. I was excited because there's not a lot of programs on the South Side for the demographic that you target for the center. So tell us about it. How did it come about?
Absolutely. We're actually the only program in the Metro Chicago area that caters to students who are in emerging adulthood with diverse abilities. So we opened our doors 6 years ago in March with the heart for touching the parents' needs and being able to support them. So it had always been my heart's desire to open a facility to support students with disabilities. Initially, I set my sights on supporting young children with disabilities. And my career path took me to administration for high school students. And so I got to really hear the hearts of parents at that age group. And I understood that there was a vacuum of resources for after-school therapeutic programs for kids with disabilities. And so from the very beginning, we really started programming for students who were 12 and older.
Wow. So you said a vacuum. So there's not a lot of programs. And like you said, after school, we're like, we don't know what to do with our children.
Exactly.
It's funny. My son falls right into that. He's 15. So I was excited to hear about that. And he's over there hanging out with the students, which is awesome. Now you're saying, it kind of took you in that direction, and you also support parents. How do you support parents as well, other than having a place for their kids to go?
We do a lot to support parents, and I feel like one of the reasons that we've grown and been so successful is because we really are attuned to the parents' needs and we listen to them. One of the things that we have that supports parents is really our parent support group, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's a formal quarterly meeting where we really try to address topics that scratch where parents itch and try to really resource them and bring them information that's going to be beneficial for them in their journey with their families. But I believe that the way that is more substantive that we support families is by listening to their needs. And so year after year, we've expanded programmatically, but it's been based on what the parents have expressed as a need. As I stated previously, we started as an after-school program because that's what I understood parents needed for their child who was unable to be home unattended after school, but also too old to be in a traditional after-school program if they were over age 12. And so that's where we started.
So you said you have a quarterly support group for parents. And I know we've talked before, and you were saying you bring in different people to talk. So can you give some examples of the people you brought in to talk to the parents?
Absolutely. So we had attorney Matt Cohen, who's a special education attorney who has really been a friend of iCan Dream Center. He came and spoke with our parents and talked about some legal considerations, things that related to guardianship. But he spoke a lot about them because remember, we are a special program in terms of the age we serve. And so he really shared with them some things to think about at this point in life for the students. What are some, as it relates to transition, some post-secondary options to start weighing, some things to think about as they become eligible for adult services. So he really catered the time to their needs and their questions, which is great. We've also had avid lifesavers come and facilitate a CPR class for our parents.
Yeah, because we need to know that.
Absolutely. Many of our students, they may have some medical fragility or there are some other things that may be hazards. And so we wanted to make sure that our parents are able to address the needs of their students in case of an emergency. So that's just an example of some of the topics.
That's awesome. And you get those topics based on, and that, I love when you say you listen to the parents, because a lot of times we go to places and they have a set curriculum, they have a set schedule, and that's what we have to kind of get used to. But you are good at listening and kind of tweaking and ebbing and flowing with what the parent is asking for.
And honestly, I love what you said, that a lot of times there's a place with a set curriculum. Even in our transition program, which is a Illinois State Board of Ed approved therapeutic program, our curriculum isn't set. So we have topics that we address with the students throughout the school year, and we do some very formal and informal assessments to see if they've internalized the material that we've shared. But ultimately, we revisit and really wrap a program around a student and their needs. So we place students in programs in the community, work programs in the community, nice. And businesses in the community that are aligned with what they're interested in. If you want to be an artist, we place students in art studios. Students who are interested in mechanics, we place them in mechanic shops. So yes, we definitely don't have a set curriculum. It's a curriculum based on what that student needs. And the same for our therapeutic programs. So we have some group sessions, but we ultimately cater it to the students' individual needs.
I know we talked before, and I was excited about the coding class. Like, we would never think to teach a disabled young adult coding, but you had a friend who was like, let me try.
Absolutely.
And what happened with that?
Absolutely. So it's been such an exciting coding journey. And I was a little bit unsure about how that would look. And she was so excited and enthusiastic about being able to present this new language, if you will, to our students. And so she is a computer programmer by trade. And so she had built this curriculum just for our students, and they have really just taken it and gone with it. And the exciting piece is I have another good friend who is the director of the HR in a tech startup company. And she asked me, do you have any students who have autism who have coding skill? And I said, wow, I will. Tell me more about what you need. And she said, we're looking for students who have autism to do some quality assurance work, but they have to have a basic understanding of coding. And that is such a perfect niche for our students with autism. So we are looking forward to graduating those students from our program into salaried positions where they can be working on their own.
They can take care of themselves. They can make their own money. And that's something as parents, we're like, I don't know. We're always lost. You know what I mean? And it's nice that you not only address students and giving them some tools to get out there and take care of themselves. Because this is the scary part for the parent. Like, Christian will be 18 way too soon. Yes. And they're talking about transitioning and guardianship. And I've never heard it addressed anywhere else until you said it, which is nice. So you also said you wanted to expand. Yes. Because there's a need. Yes. That demographic is everywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that the demographic is everywhere. Everybody's around us. And so I don't want at any point our students or their families to feel like they're invisible in society, that they sort of fade away. There's a lot of focus on young children with disabilities. They're cute and cuddly. But those young children become adults who need to have skills to be able to contribute to society. And so with each expansion that we've made, it's been based on the parents' needs. And so all our students who started with us at 12, 13, 14, 15 are now aging out of services because they're turning 22. Yeah. And many of our parents have called and said,
frantic, I'm sure.
Dr. Ford, what are we going to do? Well, we tried. They know that about adult services. We have done everything we can to resource them in that way. But they are calling saying, I'm not in love with any of the programs I see. They'll work, but having been a part of the iCan Dream family, they're just not satiated with the programs that they've been able to tour and things. And so a group of them strong-armed me. I mean, they convinced me that we should expand to an adult community program. Yes.
So is that what your plan is to do?
Absolutely. It's on the horizon. So we are looking
within the next 3 years, maybe?
Within the next 3 months.
Okay, praise God. Okay.
So we are looking at actually opening up a coffee shop that our students will run. So our students will be employed there, at least to start out. Our goal is to do activities in the community and to get our students and young adults at that time out into the community to finish fine-tuning some different skills that they may not have gathered in transition programming. But ultimately to create a workspace that is comfortable and inclusive for them.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you said inclusive, because there are a lot of people who don't have that experience dealing with a special needs person, and they don't know how to act, but you're putting them out there not only to give them a sense of self, that they can take care of themselves, they're proud of themselves, I'm sure, as they accomplish these goals, but then the community is seeing them out running coffee shops, coding.
Yes.
Like, that's a whole real job, you know?
Absolutely.
And it gives the parent peace that, okay, my child is going to be okay. Because I think for me as a special need parent, I'm always wondering, like, what's going to happen if I'm not here? But you're giving them that empowerment to know that they can take care of themselves. The parents can get together and fellowship together and support each other. And that's so necessary, because I've had 2 special needs kids, and I've met parents in the different programs, but there wasn't anything for us to connect. We drop the kids off, we got to go. We show up for the IEP, then we're gone. And we feel like we're back in that lonely space of trying to figure out what to do with our children. So I commend you for that.
Thank you. And I think I mentioned when we first started, we asked the parents to pick up their children between 6 and 6:30. And really our program ended at 6:30 or later if the parents needed it. But for me, what was important during that time was to give the parents the opportunity that you just referenced to really talk. And when we first started, many people are not aware of the stones that we use as pillows that first year.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, like, what really was so fulfilling was to watch the parents build community and grow relationships and not feel so isolated. Like they're the only ones going through and experiencing what they're experiencing. And so there have been some really great friendships that have been birthed. And I really, I say the iCan Dream family because really I've grown to truly love our parents, right? And so
I'm sure it's
and I think of them as friends, just extended family at this point. But that time, during our first few years where they would just sit and have a cup of coffee while we were finishing up, but really giving them a chance to just sit down and take a deep breath.
Nice.
Was important. It was really critical.
Yeah, because we don't do that. Like, we're rushing.
Right?
I got to pick the baby up. I got to go. And you give us a place to just sit and breathe. Like you said, breathe.
Yes.
Because we don't do that. We're like, got to go. We're doing this and doing that. So now you're a mom yourself. And you have healthy children, correct?
I do.
So how does running a facility like this and being involved with the special needs community shape you as a mom to your own kids?
That's an interesting question, Wendy. I don't think I've ever thought about that. One thing I can say is that I've always wanted my children to understand the diverse array in which people come in. And so my sons are here, and when we first moved in, everybody was laughing because they were moving books and doing things too. This is all hands on deck. So,
They work
3 years old, you can carry these books. But one thing that I'm proud of is that my children are very comfortable around people that may look different. Or someone who may be less mobile, or they're very comfortable. So they're not children who stop and stare or ask. They ask questions, but it's not in any way that denotes any fear or uncomfortability. It's just what they know.
And that's usually how they do it.
To be here, by the way.
People are freaked out by different.
Absolutely. They're not. They're very comfortable.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk more to Dr. Evisha Ford Sills, and we'll learn more about this facility and more about what's in the future for this beautiful place in Hazel Crest. We'll be right back.
On the next Wendy Life, Wendy talks with Candy Chapman, who uses her passion as a school nurse to help the special needs community.
So pretty much what led me to school nursing is my background, my love for working with kids with disabilities. I just find that they are so strong. They're so strong, and they don't even know how strong they are.
No one's told them that they can't do this, or they figure it out.
And so I do feel that it's been enriching to my life, to work with many different patients and students that have different diverse disabilities, and I learn a lot from them.
The iCan Dream Center is committed, even during these unprecedented times, to fueling dreams by empowering youth and their families with the skills to thrive. Our organizational values have really been a true north for us as we endeavor to continue in just that effort. We're passionate. We really have fun while we're changing the lives of our students. We're relevant, always growing, and as an organization, we are committed to grace. We love our students through their various transitions in life and connection. Our team relates to one another more like a family rather than just a staff. And we super serve. We hope that everyone who interacts with us will experience the excellence that we put into the very ordinary and mundane tasks. And we are accountable. We're truly accountable for the outcomes of our students, but to all of our stakeholders and to our families.
Welcome back. We are talking to Dr. Evisha Ford Seals of the iCan Dream Center here in Hazel Crest, Illinois. Where did this name come from? iCan Dream. I love it.
It is birthed from our desire for parents and families to dream for their students.
Yeah.
And the realization of the lowercase i's that need a team together. So while we want individual dreams, the I is lowercase because we realize that team is because we don't want the focus to be on the individual, but really on our group impact and our getting there together.
I love that.
Yes.
Because it should be a team. And a lot of times, like we said before, as parents, we're by ourselves. No one else can understand. We usually don't have a community of people who have the same that we're going through. Like I have a great support system at home, and I have a great family, but I felt they didn't understand because you got normal kids. They're not going to understand. So the fact that they can come here and not only be empowered as students, but the parent can dream because you kind of stop dreaming. I'm glad you said that. Like my child is not normal, so I don't have these dreams and goals for them, and you give that dream back to them.
That's really, we feel like we've been successful when we have done that. In our transition program, really the motto was birthed because we felt like a lot of times in traditional school, and I can speak from this perspective because I've developed programs on the public school side, is that we have these categories that we have to sort of force students into, that they can either go to this type of program or this type of program. Our program really was a middle road for a lot of our students because some of the students that came to us, they were in what is really on the way out, and I'm happy to say, of shelter workshops where they kind of sat and did the same repetitive tasks over and over again. And that is what was on the horizon for them for the rest of their days.
Oh, wow.
And so I can think of one student specific who started there, and then she transitioned to us from there because her mother said, I think she may have a little bit more skills, and she's bored every day. And I have to say that this young lady has been amazing. She's worked at bagel shops and retail spots and left us and got hired on full time in a retail position. And so I just think about a young life like hers where she could have just the skills that she had could have atrophied and she would never have grown beyond that point. But to see the young woman who came to us at 18 and a half and where she was when she left us at 22.
And that's a short period of time.
She has grown phenomenally.
Wonderful.
She has a driver's license. These are things that no one was dreaming for her.
Right.
And I'm glad her mother said, let me see if there's something different for her.
Yeah.
So that's one of our exciting success stories.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
The fact that she was basically saved from just living this
mundane.
Yeah. Doing something that someone told her that she had the ability to do. And that's as far as she can grow.
And one of the exciting things is that we definitely try to, as I mentioned before, resource parents to start thinking about options for their children that someone may not have shared with them before. The districts that send us students have been really great about educating families about transition services and things that they consider by and large. But then we do have some families that we interface with. Either we may meet them in our counseling ABA program, or they come to us just for after school, and the parents have not received all the information they need to really make an informed decision about the next step for the child.
Yeah.
So
love this.
Hence our parents' support.
I love this. It's just the fact that parents, we know we understand each other. And as I always say, we may have children with different disabilities, but our journey is the same. We are still emotional, the roller coaster. We have to make these decisions that we don't expect to have for children that age. We're just like my oldest son just graduated from high school.
Wow.
So that was the dream. Okay, you're going to graduate. And I just assumed it was going to happen. Whereas with Christian, I'm just like, oh my God, what happens to him after high school? You don't have that, the assumption that, okay, you're going to go to college and you're going to go out there and be on your own. So the fact that you give that dream, the ability to dream to parents is huge, not just for the child, but for the parent.
Yeah.
So how can the community help with this program?
You know what, we really have been successful to this point because we've had so many people come alongside us. And so thank you for asking that question. I would say, first and foremost, spread the word. Like you said, there are people all around who have needs, and they may not have even expressed it to you, but just so the more that you share about the resource, the more people can take advantage of it. As I referenced before, we are expanding to a larger program, so that is a capital campaign that we're trying to raise, and so we'll be participating in our Great Inflatable Race, and so we're looking for folks to sponsor our students in this really fun race we do in the fall, and to make donations. We'll have a sunglasses campaign. So there's a company that has come alongside us that is a small business based in Georgia. And so they'll be making some shades, a line of shades. And so for each pair of sunglasses, which are beautiful, by the way, that is purchased, they'll give us some of the proceeds.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
We're excited about that. So you'll be styling and contributing.
I know, I love a good pair of sunglasses. So let me know. Now, where do we find out about this information?
All of this is sunglasses on our social media. So our handle is at iCan Dream Center on Instagram. We're on Facebook, and that is just iCan Dream Center. And of course on web, icandreamcenter.com. So those are all places that will keep things going. But one of the things I did want to share is that in both programs, we have a community service component that happens monthly. And I believe that spaces where our students can come and work and volunteer has been essential for their growth. Not only in the skills that they need for the day to be able to complete the task, but really in their sense of self, in their sense of awareness that we all have something to contribute, right? So they shouldn't, an individual should always be thinking about what do I have to give and how can I give back? And so I really feel like we're winning when our students leave us and think, I want to get this job, but I also want to think about this other thing I can do where I can also give back. And so we do need spaces for our students to be able to come and volunteer. We have a group of students that are excited and willing, and they always outpace the other volunteers in terms of production. But also we want speakers. We know that people have compelling stories to share, and they have things that they've overcome. And so we want our students to be exposed to those stories because we want them to get the sense that even though I may have barriers in my life that look different than yours, what I have is a sense of hope and my ability to continue to make progress despite that.
Hope is so important for everyone.
It is.
And the disabled community is no different. We need the hope to know that the future looks bright for us as well as your average person. And I also know, you didn't mention it, but I looked at your website and I know there's a donate button.
Yes.
So if you just want to go and press the button, just donate. It's a great cause. It's helping people feel important, from the parent to the child.
They are important. I feel important to know that they're important.
Yeah, and that's huge. They're not just, doing mundane tasks. They have a voice. They're needed in the society. So that's awesome too. We're going to take a quick break again, and we're going to come out and find more about, just a little bit more about this wonderful center in Hazel Crest, Illinois, iCan Dream Center.
Many stories have conflict, but it is through these moments that strength can be discovered.
Everything that I've encompassed in life is through the guidance of my mother and the surrounding of God's angels.
I think a lot of times we are shameful of some of the things that we've gone through, which is why we don't share it.
We are beautiful in our own broken way.
The stories I have encountered, the stories that I have lived are remarkable, are amazing.
If you're so distracted by your misery, you cannot serve His kingdom.
Life is cheap when you have a lot of material but nothing to show for it.
Happiness has nothing to do with pleasure. It's in here.
You take all of that stuff and you use it as ammunition to make yourself better.
I know that I am here today only because God kept me.
This is my life. This is my story. When I look back at it, I don't regret anything because I know He was setting it all up for the good.
Challenges can be conquered. and obstacles overcome.
Welcome back. As I said before, we are at the iCan Dream Center in Hazel Crest, Illinois, and we are talking to the Executive Director, Dr. Evisha Ford Sales. How do you keep going? How do you do all? You're a mom, you have this whole business, you're looking to expand and grow, you're creating fundraisers. How do you do all of this?
A lot of prayer, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I think that, let me go back a little bit. What I am very aware of is that the iCan Dream Center was God's idea. It wasn't my idea.
Love that.
I don't think that I could have even conceived it. And if I had, I wouldn't have thought we would be where we are today.
Yeah.
I just, in my wildest imagination, I could never have thought it up. And so I believe that to see a need is the call. And so I understood the needs of the students and the families in our community. And so I responded to it. I didn't know what my yes would mean, but
I'm sure.
But I'm glad that I said yes. And so how I keep going is to continue to say yes to the next step that I know I'm supposed to take. That's
and you
clear.
see the fruits of some of your labor, so that can kind of keep you going, because you see how you're helping not only the student but the parent.
Yes.
Because the iCan Dream Center. So this was your dream initially.
Somewhat.
You saw this need.
I saw the need.
And then you was like, I can feel it. A lot of people say, I don't see this, so there's nothing that can be done. But you stepped in and you created something.
And I think that I had a lot of encouragement all around. I think to continue to keep going. And even when I thought, I can't think about adding one more thing. It was I had encouragement, I had faith to know that I didn't know how to do the first thing. So here we are. And so it's exciting. I don't know if that answered your question.
It did. And then I was just thinking that as a special need parent, I wouldn't expect someone with able-bodied children to step into our arena to help. But I think it's huge, and it's a good teachable moment for people to know that just because maybe you don't know how to behave around someone with a disability, or you don't know what the need is, ask and look on your website, and there's a need for everyone to come in this community and be of help and be of service. So what are some of the big goals we got? I know we're expanding, but what are some of the key goals that you're looking to tap into?
You know, we launched an ABA counseling program last year. And so most of the ABA counseling programs, one, are not necessarily focused on the South Cook region. There's a lot downtown, North Shore, even in the western burbs. But there aren't many options in the South Cook area. So, and then for those options that are in the South Cook area, they really focus on young children for a lot of different reasons. And so I really want to educate the families and communities in South Cook with children with disabilities about the benefits of this sort of ABA counseling services for the young people, because it's really one of the only research-based ways to grow student skills with developmental disabilities. So I want to continue to educate families on those opportunities. I'd like to see our community day program for adults thriving like our other programs. And I'd like to continue to see our transition program even expand, and our credit recovery program. So I didn't reference this much, but we have a program for students when they finish high school, they come to us and we teach them how to adult until they're 22. But we also have another smaller program with students who haven't been successful in a traditional high school setting. Many of them have anxiety or different types of struggles that make the environment not conducive to their learning. And so we definitely wrap programming around those individuals. And we've had 95% graduation success rate with those students. So I'd like to see that program grow because those are our students who are at risk for becoming involved in the criminal justice system. Those are the students who are expelled and pushed out of school by the droves. And so I like to say, let's not turn them out to the streets or to something else that we'd like to receive them. So I like to grow our credit recovery program. Those students are also really close to my heart. I spent my dissertation research is around those students with emotional disabilities and sort of programming for success for them. And so I'd like to see that grow, continue to explain to the community about the benefits of ABA counseling.
Tell the people what ABA counseling is. They're like, what's the ABA?
I'm sorry, yes, ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. And so what it is a system of interventions for students that are broken down into the smallest possible tasks. It relies on understanding what motivates an individual student and helping them to make approximations toward their goal. And some of the goals may start at being able to ask for something independently. Another goal may be to recognize facial expressions and to understand happy from sad. So it really is designed with the needs of students with developmental disabilities in mind. But the truth is we're all using ABA every day, right? We're all motivated by something. And as long as our motivation needs are met, we'll continue to strive in an area.
I love that. So, the fact that you're doing so much for this community and you don't sleep, obviously. And these are big goals that you have, and you have such a big heart for our community that I look forward to seeing you expand and grow and support you in any way that we can. Because this is, like you said, it's a market, a niche that gets forgotten. And like you said, we want them to feel empowered that they are doing something, they can do something. And then that, like you said, it helps the parents. Because I think for me, that's the biggest question. What can my child do if I'm not here anymore?
My heart's desires for the community at large is that, and I think this is gaining a little bit of traction, is that I want us to be able to resource first responders on how to work with young people with developmental disabilities, to understand that in a traffic stop or in a fire emergency, how do you respond to a person that, one, doesn't process emotions or may need more time to understand what you're asking them? So my heart's desire is to start right here with the folks in Hazel Crescent, to expand, to be able to support first responders and how to work with our youth population.
That's an important thing to do too. And I just love everything that you're doing. But to find out more about this wonderful program, it's icandream.org.
icandreamcenter.com.
Say it again.
icandreamcenter.com.
Look on that, press the donate button. Find out about the sunglasses fundraiser as well as the inflatables fundraiser. Let's expand this. Let's help the community that sometimes gets forgotten, because we're not alone. And until next time, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being on this show. This is truly an enlightening experience. And have a blessed day. And remember, any one of us can be disabled at any time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Check out more videos below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.